In about 2008, I was asked by the then provost of the university, Peter Symbolic, to do a study on the potential for School of Architecture here in Northeast Pennsylvania, located on the Marywood campus. We opened in 2009. The former Health and Physical Education building was done in the early 1950s, and we thought it would make a very good ground up. Instead of building a new building, we could renovate it into a School of Architecture. There are about 125 to 128 accredited programs in the United States, but we're the only one in Northeast Pennsylvania, the first and only one. Marywood has always had a strong tradition of the arts, and the art program had grown quite significantly, and because of that, the numbers seem to indicate that there'd be a strong interest in architecture, so that's why we started the school at Marywood.
It's kind of nice how architecture is integrated into art in a way. I had come into school thinking that I would be an art student. I signed up for architecture, but I immediately fell in love with it, and once I became a part of the program, I never looked back. I think it's a happy medium for me.
Typical day as an architecture major. A typical day never ends.
I would describe a typical day as an architecture student as a 24-hour cycle.
You do not sleep. You do not, well, if you find time to eat, you eat, hopefully.
At some point during the day, I make a point to eat a good meal, because if you don't have any nourishment, then you can't function very well.
Studio is not 1 to 5, as it says. Studio is from when you wake up till when you fall asleep, until you can't stay awake any longer.
You don't sleep very much, so you would most likely be awake till the wee hours of the morning, or till the next day at 6 o'clock when it's time to start again.
Some of them stay up 3 and 4 days in a row, which we don't advocate for health reasons and many other reasons.
The most I personally ever done was 3 days straight. Of course, that was with breaks, like going to get food and coming back, but literally never leaving the studio, 3 days.
Finals week last semester, I would work until 8 a.m. and go to bed for 3 hours and come back for like a whole week. It was rough.
The motivation that has kept me going throughout these 5 amazing years of architecture school.
I think just the love of architecture keeps me going.
Have probably been the people that I've been working with, actually. A lot of the other students they really help you throughout your whole process.
Love of designing something that works for a particular purpose and a format. It's just so rewarding to see something that functions properly and how it's supposed to, and just that works in the real world.
Coming to Marywood for architecture, I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know anything about architecture. I actually like that. I could come here without having any previous knowledge, and I could be like on the same level as other people who did have previous knowledge.
I mean, I knew it was going to be difficult, but after I got here, it was kind of smack in the face. Basically, the workload, it was a lot more work than I thought it was.
I thought everyone was kind of just exaggerating with how much work, but it ended up being a lot all the time.
Oh, it's probably one of the heaviest workloads that any student can assume at Marywood.
We get assigned something due Tuesday, it's due Thursday. Something assigned Thursday, due Tuesday, and it's a lot of stuff to do.
There was a big difference between what I expected and what it actually was.
I think our professors like to push our buttons a little bit. They know exactly the strain and the mental capacity that it takes to be an architecture student, so they will kind of push the limit. So if they know you're capable of this amount of work, they'll push you to do this amount of work and more so until you almost break. But it's good in the same respect because you get to know exactly what you're capable of.
I think the biggest challenge this year was learning how to manage my time without having to pull a lot of late nights. Well, I had to do that anyways, but I'm working on it.
My greatest memory is probably studying abroad. At Marywood, through their architecture program, they allow us to study abroad in our third year, second semester, or in our fourth year, first semester. And we study in Italy. And honestly, it is one of the most surreal experiences just because you get to live in the architecture and be immersed in it.
I'm looking forward to actually doing buildings and stuff.
I'm looking forward to actually designing a structure for a purpose rather than just, building little spaces and models.
Right now we're more conceptual ideas and just designing concepts.
So I'm looking forward to, having a set goal and like achieving it.
I'm ready to move on to buildings and more concrete things.
Plans for after college, hopefully to find a job in my field, architecture field, and maybe even construction management.
I really want to work within the area, but in the near future, I kind of want to work with some nonprofit organizations with architecture, because I went on a mission trip recently, and a lot of the mission work was done for architectural purposes in mind, and I really like that idea. So hopefully in the near future, I'll be involved in that somehow.
We did learn a lot of graphic design, and that can help you in multiple fields, not just architecture, but I mean, you go into graphic design, computer animation, things like that. So I do feel I'm pretty comfortable with that.
We're going to institute a mentoring program next year where each freshman coming into the program will be mentored by a fourth or fifth year student. We'd like to have the upper level students work with the lower level students all the time. Be a good learning opportunity for them.
If freshmen came in and they needed my advice for anything, I would probably tell them to don't overthink things, don't get stressed out. It's not worth it. I think your health is more important than staying here all night working. Save money for supplies because you're going to need a lot of them.
I would tell incoming freshmen to be prepared for a lot of work, and it's not going to be worth it unless it's something you're really passionate about. So if you don't have a lot of passion for it, I would say don't waste your time.
I would tell incoming freshmen to be ready for a lot of work, just constantly thinking of new ideas all the time. You always have to be just doing stuff, always busy, always doing everything.
I would say that you would need to love architecture wholeheartedly, and you need to understand the workload that comes with architecture, because unfortunately a lot of people don't quite grasp the concept. And that's why a lot of people drop out during the first few years of architecture school. But once you grasp the concept, then it becomes that much more rewarding.